So we were talking about in Power BI, like how we can use web links and use the data for our reporting. Like I mean, we have seen like Power BI how efficiently Power BI is doing the job, and when we are just providing a web link, anything, it can be Wikipedia or or anything, Facebook or LinkedIn, anything you can. I've seen like people they generally do that by using the LinkedIn links, LinkedIn their profiles at least. So they take that links, the profile links, and use that in the Power BI reporting, and they generate a different kind of a statistics, and generate the reports accordingly, and take a copy of the screenshot of um, that visuals what they have created and putting that into the resumes. So that is one of the innovative way that people have seen that they are doing it. So I mean, like, why is it you can make a use of it? So, like as I said, when you are started doing it, and if it is in your system, then it is like a playground for you. You can do as whatever you want it. So that's what we have seen, like by walking through with how we can do it. Okay, so I have a I will create one more report, and hope like you all install the Power BI desktop in your system, and there is no issue for anyone. If in case anyone is facing issue in the installation part, just let me know. Okay, so I have one of the uh, data sample data sheet which I have downloaded from Google for our purpose. And if you see here also you have an option. Okay, get data. That's a quick in thing. Okay, so quickly you can go to this data pan and choose that Excel one. Since I have my data in the Excel, so I can connect to this one. We will see like how we can connect to the different sources as well. We'll see we have seen like how to connect to web, and we are now seeing Excel, and we will also see the text file, and we will also see the how to connect to the SQL server, and we will also see like how to connect to your service Power BI cloud. So first to use this one Excel, and let's click on the connect one. And this is the demo data. But remember, these are very important. We were talking about right yesterday. So the dimensions, different dimensions. So what is like nowadays, like everyone having the designing skills, or even if you don't have, also they're working hard, and they're putting efforts. It's like a kind of a designing skills. It is a kind of a DTP work, like how we do it in cards. In earlier times, like the people used to do it. The DTP work for the wedding card printing, right? So the similar kind, like how you apply the colors and how you do that, that people are doing it nowadays. But how you can make the differentiator, how you can say I'm a Power BI developer very powerfully. That what is your strong, what is your strength? How can you what like showcase your skills even in the interview or in the work environment, but that with very confidently when you have this knowledge, like the data modeling part, so that you will have a when you go to the real time, the data model doesn't look like this as simple as what we are seeing. Okay, it will be sometimes it will be simple, it will be simple with one or two tables. It can be a medium one with all these tables. It can be very complex. It can be very big. A kind of a spider, a kind of a spider. You will see like how the different tables are connected, and it and sometimes what I have seen like the people use it to get a kind of work like to improve the performance of such big Power BI reports. So when you understand the differences, or when you are very good in the conceptual wise, and when you at least try for a use case of all these different kind of concepts in the data modeling side, it would be easy for you like to come up with a new design and improve the performance easily. Okay, so coming to here, and I have pulled this demo data, and it has this all the tables. If you see here, these are the some of the tables which we have in the um, our AdventureWorks database as well. Okay, I'm taking up all the tables. If you see customer table, we have a team product, and whatever the tables which I'm selecting, I can see all the data and product, sales, territory, and I'm not going to load this one. I think it's not required. The same copy. I think it is somehow the same copy of this product category. Yeah. So let's not required. And as you know that we can do the transform data and load data. Let's go with the load data. I know there is some issue with the sales, but that doesn't create any showstopper for us. So what is happening? It is waiting, and if you see here, it is creating connection in the model. Okay, it is creating the connection model, which we haven't seen yesterday, right? What is happening now? So first it established the connection and pulled the data into the Power BI report, and then what it is doing? It is loading the data to the model, this model. So now you can see like it also established the connection within the model as well. So it is, if you see here, it is loading the data. You can see that change, how it is happening and detecting the relationship. I told you, right? So Power BI is powerful enough that it automatically, okay, let's see anyways. So let's see practically how it is happening. And we just pulled the data and looked for the transformation. It has, the product table has some errors, but that's fine. It has loaded with some sort of the data. Let's come back to this model section. And now you can see, now you can see, right? So is this model we created? What we did, we just imported the data. We just imported the data into your Power BI reporting. But what Power BI did, it is not just imported or embedded this complete data into your Power BI report. It also done an addition for you. What is that? What is that? That is nothing but the relationship. It automatically created the relationship. If you see here, and I believe you know the indication of this one. So what is that? This is a connection. If you see here, these two are connected with each other. So let's design this properly so that you can understand easily. And what we have, where is our fact table? Sales one is sitting here. Bring that one at the middle so that it would be easy in terms of our design. And you have a territory here. Let's keep this one aside. And if you see here, this sales one, okay, this sales table, if you see the dim product subcategory table, which is connected to the product table, and this dim product category table is connected to this subcategory table. Okay, that's how they are connected with each other. Then also we have a customer table, and customer table is connected to this sales table. So what is the relationship? If you see here, this is the relationship. This is the relationship. So let's say if I have wanted to have this product information, yeah. So why it is one to many? Why it is one to many? If you see here, the number indicates here that one, and here the star. That means it is a one to many from this table to this table direction, from this table to this table. So one to many in the sense, so when you click on this relationship, it is also highlighting for us that which column it is basically used for joining these two tables with a one to many relationship. So customer key in the customer table, and the same customer key we will find that in the sales table. Okay, so that is how they are connected with each other. And if you see here, this is again the same thing, one to many between the product table and this table. So the product key in the product table and the product key in the sales table. So if you see here, you can see now how they both are highlighted here. So this is somehow that Power BI has created for us. But let's say assume that no, Power BI has done something wrong, that this is what you are not expecting. You wanted you wanted that Power BI has to, you wanted Power BI, you wanted to edit what the Power BI has done for you. So that option also should be available, right? So here you have that option. When you see in this ribbon, when you see in this ribbon, so there you have an option, manage relationships. Okay, so when you click on this one, what will happen? So these are the different relationships. These are the different relationships that has been created by the Power BI. So when you click on this manage relationship, this is the window where we can see all the relationships are created within this model. Okay, let's say if I wanted to change this model, if I wanted to change this connection, okay, any of this relationship, then I can select this one and we have an option called edit. Let's say if I wanted to create a new relationship, if I wanted to create a new relationship with it between any tables, then again I can choose this option called new. Or else if I wanted to delete any relationship, that we have an option of delete. We have an option of delete. Okay, auto detect anyways it is doing it. Auto detect anyways it is doing it. But when it is doing it, since my entire source in the model, my entire source in the model is one single source, is an Excel file, is an Excel file, right? This is my source. This is an Excel file. Imagine that, imagine that you have a source. Sorry. So so this is the Excel sheet. But for this report, what is happening? We are using this Power BI report by connecting to this source. But imagine that you have some sort of the models or the data sets are coming from the Excel sheet, and some of the tables or the some of the data sets we call in the Power BI, these are data sets, individual data sets. Okay, it can be a table, it can be a database view, or it can be a sheet. It can be a sheet. Okay, so but individual things will be called as a data sets in Power BI. So some of them, like Power BI report that I wanted to create with a composite model. Composite model. Remember this. This will be an interview question. Okay. So what is a composite model? Basically, the composite model is nothing but when you build a report with different hybrid sources. Basically, let's say some sort of the data which is coming from an Excel, and some sort of a data which is coming from a SQL Server database, and some other source which is coming from a other data source. So what is happening when you are pulling the data from a different sources? When you're pulling the data from a different sources, and here Power BI is the platform. Power BI is the platform for all these different sources where you have to create the relationship. So in that, once you imported the data into your report, then what will happen? Then here you need to come and select this auto detect option. You need to come and select the auto detect option for establishing the relationship. So you may ask or think that, why do I need to choose that auto detect option? Why? Because let's say, see, I know, right? I know that what is going on with these tables. So what I can simply do, see, the tables are looks very simple, and I will drag and drop once I imported the data from different sources like Excel or a table, SQL table. So I will create the relationship. That is one way. That is one way of doing it. Either, anyways, that is a manual way that you have to do it. Being the developer, you should understand the relationship. But if in case, imagine that you have a tables which are of a 200 columns. I know in my current project which I'm working on, the tables are very few, hardly 10 tables, but each of the table is having 200 columns. So how difficult, imagine that how difficult it would be for you to scroll down that to find out the column and the relationship between the two tables. To make your job easier, Power BI is helpful to choose this option, auto detect. So, but auto detect, when it will work, if you have a common column name, see, it says, if you see here, yesterday again, which I was told, I was telling that same thing now. So what is that? When Power BI will automatically detect the relationship when you have a common column name. The column name should be same. Let's say here you have a product key, but when it comes to the product table, maybe it is a product ID. Though there is a relationship, though there is a relationship, one to many relationship, but Power BI will not do it for you. for doing Power BI, doing this automatically, it is has to find the relationship. Then definitely the column names should be same for us for the Power BI. So if it is not happening, this is another case, right? In every company, they do not follow some standards. They do not follow some standards like maintaining the column names like that. So sometimes what happens in one table, they create the column with like product key. The other foreign key might be like a product ID. So in such situations, you have to manually go and click on this new button and have to select this table. And again, you have to select which table you wanted to create a relationship. So that's how you can do it. That's how you can do it. So let's say take an example. You have order date key or else order date. If I can see that order date is between these two, let's use that. Click on this date, the calendar table, and this is order date, calendar date, and this is order date. So if you see here, let me select something else. Let's open it again, or else let's refresh it once. Why? Because when we change, I should close this one. And manage relationships. Let's say edit and make this. Okay. Somehow, I don't see like somehow it is not working now. But usually what happens, so it will display here in the bottom. It will automatically, the moment you choose these columns, right? It will look for the relationship between these two, and it will show you a kind of a user friendly message stating that let's say there are 100 records in both of the tables, okay, and it will give you like, anyways it will automatically change the cardinality. It is not happening now. If you see here, it is a one-to-one relationship. Ideally it is not the correct one. So it automatically changes the cardinality. It automatically changes the cardinality the moment you select any of these columns. And also it will give you a message, a user-friendly message in the bottom stating that out of 100 records, 13 records or 17 records are found, are like the giving the result as a combination that you are selecting as a join. So one, generally we get it right when you run the SQL query with inner join or left join. So what is the output you will expect it? For every join it is different. So similarly, so it is a kind of a join only. When you're establishing a relationship, that is nothing but a join only. So relationship, automatically it identifies how many matching records you found when you're creating a relationship between these two tables. So likewise, we will get it. So somehow we are not getting it. Probably my version is outdated or something. I will check it and update you tomorrow. But just understand that you will get a message over here, and this cardinality also, when you're changing this one, automatically they get changed. The cardinality will be selected automatically, okay, it will be chosen. So coming to this cross filter direction, so if you remember, we were talking about this, right? When you choose this both, what will happen? You choose this both, what will happen? So it will create, you will get a kind of a bi-direction. Bi-direction in the sense, you can pull the data from this direction to that direction. Let's say, imagine you have a customer data and the product wise, customer wise, product wise, sales, you want it, but you do not have a direct relationship here. The direct relationship, one flow direction is not there. One flow, one single flow is not there. If you see here, the flow is coming from this direction to this direction. If you see the direction arrow, and even the customer also, and from customer to sales table. So you have from this one to this one and this one to customer to sales, but you do not have a simple flow, single flow from product to customer, not like customer to product, not like customer to product. Merging happens with a different option. We'll talk about that. Okay, so so that is what the relationships. So coming back to that one again, let's see. So it has created the relationship. If you see here, even if I haven't saved this one, if you see here, it automatically created that relationship. So let's see. So again, I have to change this one back. Why? Because the product category alternate key is something different and this one is different. So we need to establish a proper relationship between these two. So how we can do it? So this is a product subcategory, and we should have not subcategory, we should have a product category key, right? This one and this one. Okay, so click on OK and we are good with this one. And but I wanted to show you like how automatically it changes, but anyways, I will check that part. So this is the relationship, how you establish it with the help of a managed relationship. So if you remember, I was talking with one of the use case yesterday that you cannot create, let's create one more relationship. Okay, so this is already created with the customer key, and also on top of it I just wanted to try something like order date. Okay, order date to date purchase, date first purchase. Okay, just wanted to see it. So the one option is like you can drag, click on this one, you can drag and drop it on the column on which you wanted to create the relationship, see how it is working now. It is working. So if you see here, it is first saying that it is a many to many relationship. The relationship has a cardinality many to many. This should only be used if the expected that neither column purchase contains unique values, and that is the significantly different behavior of many to many relationship. Okay, so remember that earlier versions of the Power BI, they did not even provide this option. They just provided these three options: many to one and one to one and one to many. They did not even provide. Why? Because this is not a good relationship to use it. Why? Because it clearly evident that a duplicate cause of a duplicate records. Let's say you have, remember this, we even talked about this in SQL as well, right? So when you're doing a join between the two tables, so one table, the key column of one table at least should be contain unique records. Otherwise what will happen if both the sides of the key columns are foreign keys, then definitely it will throw the duplicate records. Why? Because when a duplicate record, let's say there is one and one and okay, let's talk about one and one. So if I have a key column one and one id and another table id column, so the same one and one you have like this, and these are duplicate columns, and you do a join between these two id equal to id, what will be the output? You will get the output even for any join, be it is a left join, be it is a right join, or inner join, any join, you will get the output like this. So is it not expected, right? This is not expected one. Why? Because everyone will be joining with other one. So this is something, a kind of a duplicate data that we are coming up with. Similarly, the Power BI also does the same thing in the backend as well. The same logic, same concept, nothing changed. So basically we get the duplicate data. So that's the reason. That is the reason it is creating a many to many relationship. You have a duplicate data in both of these columns. Duplicate data in both of these columns. Okay. So it is changing now. You can see, right? Many to one relationship. Let's click on this OK button and let's see what is happening. So what is happening now? So the relationship is not created. Basically, we wanted the relationship to be created, but it did not create. Why? Because you can see a dotted line is created. So what does it mean? So I told you this in before, in Power BI or in data model, in data model, you cannot create a more than one active relationship between the two tables. I mean, the dimension or fact table, ideally. You cannot create it. At a time, you can have only one active relationship. So at a time, we can have only one active relationship. So if in case, if my requirement is to pull the data from both of these columns and I wanted to see the sales, so in such situations, how do you handle that? How do you handle that? Using tax calculation, we can handle that situation. Though this relationship is active, but still I can choose these columns to make or to display in the report. That we will see as an example, okay, as a use case. So for time being, just for showing you, I have I'm deleting this one. I have created this one, but I will delete this one. Okay. So the properties, again, let's go to the properties. Okay, so you have a checkbox here, make this relationship active. When you choose this option, what will happen? The other relationship which is created, which will be deactivated, and this will make it as active. Okay, so that's how we need to create or make the relationship active one at a time. One at a time. Okay, clear? Any questions from anyone? Okay, good. So since, just for understanding, we have created this relationship, so let me delete this one since we do not require this.
Manikantha, what is the use of, why we create this relationship for that particular key, and how we come to know we have to uh, what we call connect to that particular key, as I mean relationship.
Okay, so Naveen, like, yeah, I have we talked about this one yesterday, even theoretically, even when it comes to the practically, what will happen, So let's say, to answer to the first question, that why do we create the relationship? So I told you, right? So the relationship are important to create a model in the model section, and have to establish the relationship is for the two purposes. Is for the two purposes. One is interactive filtering, interactive data filtering can be done in Power BI Visual. Okay, that we will see when we come to this actual report section, when we actually creating the reports, start creating the reports, that we will see, and I will show you, like, how it is interactive, if we create a relationship, and what is happening, what is the impact if we are not creating the relationship, if we do not create the relationship, what will happen, that I will show.
No, here I got like here. My question is like
Mhm.
in sales table I can see there's a product key. Okay, can you
Right.
please like scroll bit up? No, no, no,
Mhm.
not that one, not that one, not that one. I wanna see that. Yeah, here in the product, even in the product table, I can see the product key. Okay,
Right.
because of this particular thing, it itself made the relationship, right?
Mhm.
Other than dragging relationship in, manually by
Right.
us,
It's
because of
automatic.
having this
Uh,
two,
yeah.
yeah, it's automatically it itself drag the relationship. Okay,
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
I can see one product key, and here I can see one product key. Okay, and in
Mhm.
addition to that, is any other key from the product uh, has the same key in the sales table? Because I can see it is like one to many, right?
Yep. One to many means, what do you understand?
See, okay, as per my understanding, like what are the column names in product table? That's it has same in the sales table. So I think like if there is only one column name which matches with the product key, like
No,
product key
no,
and product key, or like product
no,
ID and
Naveen.
product ID, then I feel it's one and one. Okay.
No, Naveen. No, 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 not that case. It is not based on the columns, actually. The relationship creates based on the data, underlying data of these columns. First,
Mm-hmm.
how it created the relationship, it found that product key is the common column it found that in between these two tables. So that's the reason it automatically created the relationship. That is one part. So, but what is this one-to-many relationship in the sense how it will be creating that one automatic relationship? Let's say you have product table from the product key, and this is a sales table product key. Okay, this is sales table, and this is your product table. Okay, so product table in the sale product table product key will be having the unique IDs. Why? Because it's a dimension table, it's a parent table. And what is your transactional table? Sales table is the transactional table. Okay, so in the sales table you will have having the data with multiple times. Likewise, this is called one to many. So you will be it is one means you will be having the unique records in the product table. Definitely, right?
Which yeah, okay.
In the
Here,
dimension
okay,
table.
here, mm,
Yeah, go
okay.
ahead, Naveen. Are you clear?
Oh, okay, here product table, as per this, product table is the fact table and sales is the dimension table, right?
Right. Sales is the
Okay,
fact table. Product table is the dimension table.
okay. A dimension table in a sense, which has the unique data.
Exactly. This is a master table. All the dimension tables are the parent tables. We'll be having the
Okay, got
primary
it.
key. The product key in the product table is the primary key, and the same product
Mm-hmm.
key in the sales table is the foreign key. Let's say
Okay.
you have 100 chocolates, quantity of 100 chocolates. Okay, a chocolate, a brand called XYZ brand, and you have a
Mm-hmm.
quantity of 100 chocolates in your supermarket. Okay, you are one of
Mm-hmm.
the customer. You will go there. You will go to the supermarket and you have purchased 5 pieces of it. And I will go there. I am another customer to that supermarket, and I will go and purchase 10 pieces of it. So what is happening? The sales table is capturing that information. So that captures this product key. Product key is nothing but your
Okay.
brand. Okay, that using which you can uniquely identify. The same one, Naveen has purchased 5 and Mani has purchased 10. That is another column where you can maintain this quantity. But the product key will be repeated. Why? Because every transaction that you make it in the supermarket, that will be logged into your transactional table. That is nothing but the sales table here. Clear? I mean, any questions still you have, or we are good? So that's the reason it is like one to many relationship. One means it read the data, complete data. When it is establishing the relationship, it is basically looking into the underlying data of that column. The underlying data of that column. If you see here, it is establishing the relationship. Let's say for suppose you do not have this data. You do not have this data. Imagine that let's keep this data aside, and okay, you have another table called prod or something like that. Okay, you have 1 2 3 4. So what will happen now? It is a one-to-one relationship. Why? Because your table has both the sides. Your table has a unique records. It will be a one-to-one relationship that we talked about with examples. Now just recall it, like
Yes.
the data modeling part what we talked about.
Yeah, yeah, got it, got it.
Got it, right?
Got it. Okay, got it here. Okay, adding to this. Okay, think there is one more table called. Can you open that? Mm,
Mhm. No
modeling
worries,
thing.
no worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Here there is no relationship between calendar table and sales table here.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Now, I wanna drag the relationship between calendar and sales. Okay. And
Okay.
in this particular scenario,
Mm.
why we need to do this?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, why we need to create this relationship with calendar table to sales table?
Mm. You're asking me or you're telling me?
No, I'm asking you. In addition
Okay,
to that, how we come
okay.
to know why we
Uh,
need to drag the relationship
why we
between
need
these
to drag this one is
function?
because there is no common column name. Remember this, the name is not available in both the tables. So that's the reason Power BI couldn't able to create a relationship automatically. Okay, being
Okay,
being a
okay,
developer,
no.
you know that how the data is and what is the relationship between these two tables. But unfortunately, there is no column which is with a common name between these two tables, as like how it is established the relationship between these two, product key and name.
Got it.
Clear up? Okay. So that we are talking about, Navin. Yeah, we are going to talk about in a minute. Okay. So the how that also we need to understand, right? How we need to create a relationship between these two, and what is the benefit that we will get it if we create a relationship between the two tables, say calendar table and sales table. Okay. Clear, right? You're clear, right, Naveen? It is not the meaning that when it is establishing a relationship between the two tables with one to many, that doesn't mean that if this table will be having the multiple columns where you can establish the relationship. That is not the meaning of it. The meaning is like it is establishing the relationship with the underlying data. The underlying data. It is reading the complete data. It is reading the complete data of the table. Then it is creating the relationship. Right.
Manik, I have a quick question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So these are like the simple joins, right, between a product key and a product key. So
Mhm.
while explaining SQL, I'm like you told me we can create a complex also, like within the join we can create like and something is equal to like a filter.
Exactly. That we can do it in. Uh, yeah, this is a wonderful question. So, okay. So one option is that we are clear that we cannot make it as one active relation, more than one active relationship. That part we are clear, right? Why? Because even if we wanted to do that also, Power BI is not allowing us. So how we can do that? How we can achieve that? So one option is using DAX. Using DAX, we can do that. We can though we have an inactive relationship, but that we can make it as an active through DAX measure, through DAX expressions. There is a function called user relationship. User relationship. Okay. We will talk about this one, but if you really wanted to know it before, but just go through this in Google, and when it comes to the that section, I will talk about this one. But so what this will do, this function will make that relationship active at the runtime of the query or runtime of the visual, and will do the job for us. So the other thing, so the what is the other option? Option two. So when we wanted to establish the relationship or create a join between multiple columns, multiple conditions, in such case, what you generally have to do in the data section, we need to create a combo column. We need to create a combo column. Let's say you understand that this is the one column and this is the other column, which you know that you need to use these two columns as a join key. So what you have to do, you have to create a new column by concatenating the data between these two. And similarly in the other table also, the other table, let's say this customer table, that also you will do the same thing. You will create a new column. That is possible. That is called calculated columns. That we will talk about it. So with the help of a calculated column, new column, if you see here, this is a called new column. So using new column, we can generate the new columns with our expressions. Okay, by combining these two columns. So once you have the combo column, then you can come back to here simply and create the relationship. When you have a combo column with the joining of a two columns or three columns, then you can do that.
Oh, okay, Manik.
Got it, right? So these are the two
Yeah, yes, I
options.
got it. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So we will talk about, okay, and this one I will not leave. I will definitely talk about. Why? Because this is very important for you to understand in the modeling side.
Yeah.
and Power BI
So,
side.
so these are like the simple joins, right? We are talking right now, like everything.
Right. So
Okay,
these are the
thank you.
basic joins. Actually, in general, it happens. Okay,
Yeah.
in
Okay.
more than 70% of your requirements, it generally happens like this
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
in
Thank
real
you.
time project. But the question that you have asked is a workaround solution that we need to look for a workaround solution. Okay, so this is very important. If you don't ask this question, I would have miss or maybe not provide this answer for you. Why? Because there would be many use cases and many things. So since you have asked, so I share that information that the solution that we have is like creating a combo column that we called combo key. So why we are calling it as a combo key? So because we are doing a join between multiple columns. So how you can do that? First, we are concatenating these two columns. Then after we are using that as single column in the join conditions.
Okay, Manish. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, come back to you. You're clear, right? That how this relationship is establishing between the two tables. Naveen, there?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So this is how like you create the relationship. So the other part, this is one place. This is one place where you can create the relationship. And what is the other option we talked about? The other option we talked about is drag and drop, finding the column and drop it on it. So, and if you see here, there is no relationship is established between these two, they are completely independent in the model. Let's say you got a requirement, you wanted to see the regional wise sales, is it possible? Since there is no relationship is established, so what will happen, the relationship, since it is not established, the data will broke down. You will get some kind of, okay, let me show you a quick visual. Okay,
Uh, Money, is it possible by extracting from the address and forming a relationship with the region?
mm, Bhargav, can you please come again?
Is it possible to form a relationship between customer and region by address line 1 and address line 2?
Yeah, that is possible, so see, region, first we need to look into the data, right? So when we
Yeah,
will
yeah.
come to know that, we need to understand the data is same in between those two or not. Okay, first let's investigate for your question only. Let's investigate if it is possible or not. So first what you do, you go to the data and see what is the data in my address line 1. Okay, so then again what you do, you go to the territory and you will see the region. Is there any matching with the names? At least like on a high level, you're looking at the top 10 records, so the northwest. But when you come here, you will see that there is no record like a northwest here. It is address of a exact address, it is giving with the numbers as well. So we cannot create the relationship, right? With that, looking into that, we can come to a conclusion that we cannot create the relationship, right? This is how you have to decide like whether a relationship can be created between the two tables. Why? Because your question is valid. Why? Because it is not that always we will understand the data from the beginning of the job that we are going to work for any company. We need to do all these hit and trials. We need to see like whether is there any relationship between address line 1 and is there any relationship between the region. So we need to do that groundwork, we need to do that exercise. Then only we will understand when we can create the relationship. Okay,
Okay, man. Thank you.
yeah. So coming back to this calendar, so now you are okay, let me show you a quick visual. So let's say reason wise only, reason wise I am selecting the reason whichever I wanted to. So when in visualization pan, when I since I selected this one, I selected this region, so automatically in this column section you are getting this region. Okay, and next one I will choose from the sales table, I will choose sales amount. I wanted to see the region wise sales. If you see here, the data is broken, the data or the visual is broken actually. Basically, if you see, the data is repeated for all of these regions. The reason, because remember this is This is the common thing that you will see in throughout your Power BI career. When something is broken, like the relationship is not established properly, you will see the data is repeated for all the records. You'll see the data is repeated for all the records. So how you can fix this issue? Let's come back here and establish the relationship. Do we have any relationship? Let's see. So sales table, and yeah, if you see here, this is a sales territory key, and when in the territory table you have a territory key. So I understand that. Okay, but even since I know about this table, so I'm doing it. But let's say how you have to do it generally. So the territory table, you have a territory key, and come back to the sales table and see what is the data which is there in sales territory key. Where is that?
The first few columns here,
First
the
few.
sales territory.
Okay, so if you see here and when you click on this one, you will see the same numbers, right? So with that confirmation, you will understand, right? Why? Because the name itself, like it gave a confirmation to you, right? Sales territory key and territory key look similar, but the further confirmation, a complete confirmation, how you can do it? By looking into the data. So when we looked into the data, what we found? We found that okay, there is a relationship between these two tables. So how you can do it? Create the relationship either by click on the shift button and drag and drop it. Not shift button, control button. Okay, drag and drop it on top of the field which you wanted to create the relationship. Okay, so other option, go to the relationship, manage relationship, click on new, select the territory and select the field that you wanted to join or create a relationship, and go to the other table, sales table, and you have a territory. So what it is created, it automatically created for you that one-to-many relationship. Okay, click on OK and close. Then your relationship would be established. Since you have a relationship established between these two tables, it's a one-to-many relationship. Since we have seen that the data is repeated, you know, if you see here, the records are repeated. So that's the reason many, one-to-many. So when you see this territory, you have a unique data. The data is not repeated here. It is a master table. So let's go back to the visual. Is it fixed or not? Now you can see. Let's see the regional wise data. So why that blank is coming? Should have a filter. Don't we have a data? Yeah, good. Let's see if it is summarizing. It is not summarizing, right? This has to be summarized. This, even if it is not summarizing also, this is that's the reason I have converted that into a table. But anyways, if you remember, like when we are loading the data into the model, so there that time we had an issue with this tables, right? So probably because of that reason it is not happening. Again, I will look into that part and see why it is not coming up. Or else let's see group wise, do we have anything? Tax amount, let's say sales amount, remove the sales amount and see something is missing here. Probably that reason we are not seeing anything. Maybe it could be the reason like I need to refresh my Power BI version also, but we will see. And definitely I will show you. Okay, it will not be a miss. Okay, so coming back to this one, so that's how we create the relationship. And if you see here, and again the next step or next job is like to establish the relationship between calendar and sales. Okay, so what is the need for establishing a calendar and sales? If you remember, we talked about when we are talking about the modeling part. or data warehousing concepts. So every domain or the function domain, like be it is a healthcare or a finance or a retail business, every domain will deal with their data by time by time. So basically what they wanted to see the total sales by a month wise sales or year wise sales. At when it comes to the finance sector, they wanted to see the total delinquent accounts. The customer who did not make the payments, we call it as a delinquent accounts. So the total number of customers who did not make the payments of, we wanted to see the total delinquent accounts by month wise. So again, there also you need a calendar. Why? Because it is not always that a month wise report they want it. They also sometimes they ask you the week wise data. They ask you year wise data. So for that reason you have this calendar table. So once you established a relationship between calendar and sales, then what will happen, you can drive the granularity of any extent. Like let's say if you wanted to see the month wise or week wise or quarter wise data, simply you can choose these columns. Let's say if you do that, what will happen, again the same thing, missing of the granularity, and for any of the fiscal quarter that you select, the data will be repeated for the sales amount will be repeated for all the records. Sales amount will be repeated for all the records. To establish that, to fix that issue, what we need to do, we need to create a relationship. So here I have a date column and here I have order date. So if I choose these two dates, what will happen, I can get the month-wise sales, year-wise sales, and quarter-wise sales, week-wise sales. I mean, whatever the columns that we have, we can derive the granularity of the data by any of these dimensions.
So here, why we need to like drag relationship between the date and uh, what is this in sales table? Date key or something else?
Order date.
Oh, sorry, order date. Why
Hmm.
I cannot do the same like date column with customer key or product key? Why not? Why only with this particular column? That's what my question to you.
This one,
Yeah. Why only
you
date to date?
yeah. See, Naveen, when you can do, you can match apples with apples or mangoes with mangoes, right? You cannot match or you cannot compare mangoes with apples. That's simple answer. It's a date.
Okay. Okay. Here, whatever the table it is, if we find the identical columns, like then we have to try the relationship only to that particular column.
Exactly. So, see, before doing a dragging or creating relationship, I was telling you like, why do we need to do it? Why do we need to do it? The use case is like, if we don't do it with the order date, simply you have the dates here. You have a dates here. So what you can do, if they ask you to create a visual, create a report that provides me month-wise sales. So can we do that with this information that what we have? No, we cannot do it, right? So that's the reason we are taking the help of the calendar table that is providing a granularity of all these different columns that you have, different time periods we have. Okay, so that's the reason, since if we create a relationship between this date to this date, why? Because this is a date and this is also a date. Then what will happen, since we already have a relationship between these two, then automatically it gives the data, the granularity of any sales or a tax amount that you paid or the extended amount or the discount amount by month wise or quarter wise or year wise or anything, any time period that you see here. But in SQL, what you need to do, if you when it is coming to your SQL query, that what you need to do, let's say if they're asking you to write down the query by month wise sales, let's say you have this table, sales table, and you have this order date, and you need to bring the sales month-wise sales. But what is this order date? It is days. It contains the dates, not the months. Then how you can do it? So what we are doing here, first we are grouping that and using the month function, and that month you are using in the select statement. So first this select statement, what this SQL query first converting this order date into month numbers. Let's say there could be many months, right? Many dates, 1/1/2022 and 15/1/15/2022. So the dates are different. The dates could be different. But what is the common thing here? You need to capture the sales of all these dates. Why? Because the month is same for all of them. The month is same for all of them. That's the reason you are doing a grouping. Why? Because this sales and company $100, and on this day it is like a $500, and this is again $2,400. So what is happening with this? You do not want the day-wise sales. The business is asking you to generate a report month-wise sales. What you need to do? You need to capture the sales of all these dates, and then after you need to sum it up. So how you can do it? When you do a grouping on month-wise. When you do a grouping on month-wise. So that is nothing but you're finding out the month. Then after it is doing the summation. So similarly, the same fashion, it is also happening in the SQL side. If you create a relationship between these two, so what will happen? It is not just day-wise data you are pulling out. You can also pull any of the periods that you have in the calendar table. You can make a use of it. Simple click. If you do not have a calendar table, again you need to create some calculated columns in the sales fact table. In the sales fact table, I will show you that again with the practically that how you need to create a calculated columns for serving your purpose. But how simple it is, if you create a relationship, you can make a use of all these inbuilt values that you have in the calendar table. So that's the reason in every Power BI report, it is very important for you to understand how you can have a calendar table. That is really, really important. Clear, Naveen? Or any questions?
No.
Practice it, Naveen. Practice it and try to build the relationship. I will share this sample data with you all after the session, and create your relationship entirely. Do the same exercise what I have done in this session. And when you try to do, and also like let's say do this way, drag this date number of week on top of this order date. There is nothing going to happen,
Okay.
right? So you will understand what is going in behind.
Okay.
You will understand what's going on here. Since there is no data, common data it could not find, so that is the reason simply it is throwing us many to many relationship to us. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions from anyone?
Manik, this is Teja.
Yeah, Teja, go ahead.
So I know like currently we are doing like a date to order date.
Right.
For example, in sales, I mean like if you have like two dates, I mean like there is a one more, let's just say like order date of something other date.
Or else a shipping date.
Right. Yeah,
Pick up
shipping date.
Yeah, order
shipping
date.
date.
Yeah. So I mean, we need to do an alias of calendar date, right, to get that one more join.
Yes, the same concept. The same concept comes here. It's like you can choose either sales date or order date by
No,
creating
what
a
I'm saying is, so I mean like I'm talking about mainly like alias thing. So we need to do an alias of a calendar table, right?
What alias? I did not get you.
No, for example, I mean like we need to have like a two joins. One is for the order date, other one is like a shipping date.
Okay, you mean to say the combo key, right? You're talking about?
No, not the combo key. I mean like for example, when we are doing the joins in the SQL, like I'm like for example in the report, I'm like they can ask like by order date or by shipping date.
Right.
So at that time, I'm like we need to do an alias of a calendar table, right?
No, not required. You mean to say like copying of this calendar table and create another relationship
Yes,
with
yeah, exactly.
not required. That again creates an issue for your model. So let's say now you're talking about one example that if you have an order date and shipping date, that we will create two copies of the calendar. Let's imagine that you have four different columns. Transit date, or some other columns. So
Right,
do we
right.
create different copies of the calendar? No, we will not do that. So that is where we are coming into. See, let's say what will happen. You will establish at one time, you will create an active relationship either with the order date or a shipping date.
Okay.
Okay, but in a single visual, you wanted to display your sales order by order date wise, shipping date wise, and sales. So for that reason, what you need to do, you need to create a DAX calculation. Though you are making another relationship as inactive, other relationship, what you will do, you will simply drag that and place it in the order date. Okay, that is one active relationship you create. And you will also
Right.
do a drag and drop on the sales date. That is inactive relationship. But that inactive will be active by the DAX measure with the help of a user relationship. This function in the
Oh, okay, okay.
that will be inactive in throughout your model. That will never be active, but at runtime it will make you active. It will make the relationship active and serve your purpose.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So
But
good
we
that
will,
I mean like Power BI, we don't need to create an alias of every time. Okay, okay.
no, not at all required.
Oh, okay, got it. So yeah.
Okay, we
Okay.
will definitely will go with that example. Okay,
Yeah,
that
thank
how
you,
we
man.
can do that. Yep. Any questions from anyone? We are good. Okay, perfect then. So again, for your exercise, I will share you the sample data and create your report with and play around with the model, like whatever, drag and drop, and create whatever you want. Even biscuits compare with chocolates or anything. Okay, anything you do it and understand. When you do that, definitely it will not allow you to create it. Power BI is not as simple as you think. Okay, it will not allow you, and it will throw a kind of error message stating that you're trying to establish a relationship. Okay, you're trying to establish a relationship which is not supposed to be. Okay, so then you will understand what is going on in between. Okay, okay then, thank you for joining, and let's connect tomorrow to continue on this part. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, man.